Hello, Needham, and welcome to the Power Half Hour of Real Estate right here on the Needham channel. You are watching What's My House Worth? I am Rob Tickton. This is Ryan McDonald. We are with Hawthorne Real Estate. We're both realtors.
As opposed to realtors.
Correct, realtors, Ryan.
Tough word, Rob.
Hawthorne is also a design build company. But the reason we're here today is to talk about the month of, Ryan?
June.
June, correct. And it was a very busy June indeed, so let's just get right to it, shall we?
Yeah, time is short.
It is. Let's take a look at the sales data, and the first number that's going to pop off the page as you look at it is the number of sales, Ryan. How about that?
50 sales, Rob. It's down 10 from our number of 60 last year.
Okay.
So we'll get to that a little bit later. But our prices are up. So both our average and our actual list and sale are both just under $1 million. Those are both up from a year ago. So
Up 7%.
Yeah.
The sales price.
So that's pretty good. Our percentages are down a little bit from last year. You remember last year things were flying off the shelf at a crazy clip. So we're still at 98.2% of list, 97% of original list. We'd like to see that up higher than that, but still a very strong number.
Well, something tells me we're not going to see it much higher than that for at least the next few months, but go ahead.
I would agree. The average sales price per square foot of just under $380. That's still very strong. Last year was at $361. So, and then 42 days on market. Again, still very, very quick on the turns. So. Right. All in all, pretty good.
June sales reflecting a spring market, which would explain why the trend would be heading upward as we look back on the last 6 months. And no surprises, kind of seems to be the case every year that June is the one that jumps up, and July probably will be a strong number as well, although I'm not so sure as strong as 50 sales.
Agreed.
Historically, June, you said we're down 10. How are we down from other Junes of yesteryear? And I would say 50 seems to nestle in there pretty nicely, Ryan.
It does. I think if you take last year and obviously the June of 2012 out of there, then this year looks very strong. But when you pair this against how many homes are on the market, that decline of 10 sales from last June, it's a little bit concerning.
All right, yeah. So 50 sales for the month. We did peel away a condominium that tried to sneak its way into the single-family sales.
Nice try, Andrea Circle.
But let's take a look at them. We'll start with the low sales price and start to climb all the way to the big seller. The first one on the docket is, it resides on Greendale Avenue. That's 729 Greendale Avenue. Ryan, sells for $473. Not a bad number for a 10,000 square foot lot. No,
it is. It's a good piece of property. It is very close to the future site of the development that's going to be happening on Greendale, so that might affect its number a little bit, Rob.
All right, good point. You want to take it for the next one? 8 Vera Lane.
I think location is also a factor here. Means the lot's a little small. It's under 8,000 square feet. Vera Lane is located kind of nestled, back behind Reservoir in that area near the Newton line.
Yep.
And it is, you're navigating through some commercial area before you get over to that residential spot.
We do see some sales in there. In fact, we're going to see another one later in the show. Yep. As you head down Central from Vera, you get to Parkland Road, not too far away, 17 Parkland, and this one sells for $525.
Yep, I mean, as the listing agent notes, it's turn the key and welcome home. That's true. It's still turn the key and welcome home unless you want to update a little bit, because it's a little bit dated, but in very nice condition. So certainly move-in condition, but you may see some modernizing going on in there in the not too distant future.
Just 2 beds and 1 bath at that house. Yep. Staying in the same vicinity. This next one is in between the previous 2 listings, Ryan. It is 104 Central Avenue. This one is... it was assessed at $415,000, Ryan, sells for $539.
Yeah, again, a little dated, but just to me, like the opportunity to get into a colonial, that's a little dated that you're getting in the low 5s is attractive. I mean, it's on the avenue, and it's a 7,400 square foot lot, but you're getting it in the 5s.
Yeah, we do like the avenue too, don't we?
We like to say it.
We do. We like to say it. Good point. In between Honeywell and Booth is our next listing, so we're really staying in a tight range here early in the show, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we like it when they stay geographically close.
Yeah, it just feels cleaner.
It's easier for us for some reason.
It is.
Although it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, because the slides are equally far apart. 14 Hill Street is the next listing, sells for $540.
Which I thought, Rob, for a house that's 1,100 square feet was a lot of money.
You thought it was ambitious?
I did. I thought it was a good number. I mean, you note the assessed value of $470. The lot's under 8,000 square feet. That's a good number for the seller. That was a candidate for me.
Yeah, well, I think the fact that, unlike Central, it's a quieter street, so that obviously adds a lot of allure. Kind of a pretty big listing here coming up, and that's 24 Norfolk Street. And the reason it's such a big listing, Ryan, is it's the Smallest home to sell in Needham since 2012. How about that distinction?
It's certainly a candidate to be featured on our year-end show.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, and the write-up for this house, Rob, was tremendous.
Fortune favors the bold.
That was just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, he went on to list just about everything that this property is convenient to, including Rhode Island, which I thought was really tremendous and helpful.
It is. I wonder if that did anything to help the sale of the house.
But I don't know. But it's a 15,000 square foot lot located near Needham Junction. It's probably going to be redeveloped. If I had to make a guess, it's, as you mentioned, it's 782 square feet. May need a little bit more. Big lot, prime candidate for some expansion.
Sure, that could be the lot certainly is worth.
And the bigger
the
house, the closer you get to Rhode Island.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
That's a little. Maybe that'll be on the next listing sheet if it goes back on the market. 541 Central Avenue.
Back to the avenue.
Back to the avenue is our next listing. It sells for $577,500. Great condo alternative, Ryan.
Well, you remember when we saw this house? We walked in and we couldn't believe how nice the inside of it was.
Very nice.
It was just, it was probably a little bit aggressive on the original listing price, but otherwise, I mean, this is the house you say turn the key and move in. This was completely done and very nicely done. I really liked this house. So somebody's got a pretty good deal here.
Sewer easement in the backyard. Does that bother you at all?
Sewer easement or storm drain easement?
I thought it was sewer, but there is. Let's call it an easement.
An easement. No, it doesn't. As long as you know going in and you know what the limitations are, but it's certainly something that you can work around.
Okay, good. 55 Colton Park is next up. $610,000 for this one, Ryan. Seems like a pretty good price here for the buyer.
Yeah, I mean, this is at the end of Colton Park. It does have the train is in your backyard.
It does. So quiet street otherwise, though.
Right, true, and a great spot. It's kind of like the offshoot of the ladder streets. It's
on the other side
of Harris. Yeah. So, but I think the price is indicative of where it sits in terms of the proximity of the train. I'd have to guess.
Yes. At the Central Avenue end of Nahoyden is where you'll find our next listing. It's 77 Nahoyden Street. This one sells for $640,000, goes above list, so sells quickly, Ryan, 5 days.
Yeah, a nice little farmhouse feel to it, 11,700 square foot lot. Little dated, but certainly move-in condition, and I liked the charm in that house.
We have a celebrity listing coming up here.
Yeah.
Can we disclose that? Are we allowed to talk about the previous?
Probably not.
Probably not? All right. Well,
let's just say one of Needham's finest.
One of Needham's finest is the former resident of 20 Alderbrook Lane. No more. So if anybody wants to know who that celebrity former resident is, they can maybe email into the show. We'll give the contact information a little bit later. This is one floor living. Maybe that's a hint, Ryan.
Yeah. And this Alderbrook Lane is kind of wedged. It's a little bit off of Dedham Ave near DeFazio Field, so that little part of town.
And 2 of the 3 bedrooms have their own bath,
which is convenient.
Interesting story associated with our next listing. That's 8 Whiting Way. So this one goes on the market for $759,000, sells pretty quickly for $725,000 to a builder. Immediately after it closes, the builder decides, for whatever reason, I'm just going to put this right back on the market.
Yep.
So this house is currently, as we speak, back on the market for $759,000. So interesting to see where this one's going to go. But in the meantime, it sells for now for $725,000.
Right. Yeah, we'll keep our eyes peeled.
Yeah, we'll follow up with that one, hopefully for the seller anyway. 12 Harding Road is the next listing. Sells for the same price as the one on 8 Whiting Way. This one goes for $725,000, Ryan.
Yeah, different house. This is a small, charming little cape. Harding Road is kind of nestled between like Mark Tree and High Rock.
Yeah, it's close to the High Rock School.
In that neighborhood.
Yep.
It's listed as a 3-bed, but functionally, Rob, there's 2 beds upstairs. 1 bed's on the first floor, kind of off the living room, or that. It's a gussied up 2-bedroom, I would say.
All right, but additional 240 square feet in the basement.
Good.
So it's got that going for it.
Of course it does.
Over on Birds Hill is 33 Morningside. That's the next listing. Sells for $735,000. Was on the market for $735,000. Seems to be, well, obviously it was priced very well, right?
Yeah, pretty neat little deal. It's on Morningside, which is on Birds Hill, right near the water tower.
Yes, in a sloped street, which I think works against it. What I think worked for this house, or what helped it, is the finished 3rd floor kind of set it apart a little bit, I thought.
That's nice.
Yeah. So it also brings us to our next one, which is 155 Noanette Road. It sells for $742,500, Ryan.
I love the quote there that you've got, Rod. The closets in the master are willing to leave, which is good.
Well, it sounds like they want to stay there.
But because
if you put it on them.
If you're into a negotiation with the closets, I mean, it can bog a deal down. So it's good that they are on board with the deal. They're leaving. They're not going to be there when you get there.
I think it should have been worded, closets in master are negotiable. Or easygoing.
Yeah, sometimes you get some real stubborn closets and it can be a real bugaboo in a deal.
Good point. Well, I can tell you one thing, Ryan, nothing awful about the next listing. That's 11 May Street. Great lot, 16,000 square feet. Thoughts on this? It was on the market for a little while, came off, went back on. This was purchased by a developer. Do we know if it's going to be a tear down?
No, I don't know that for sure. But yeah, it was purchased by a developer. It's either going to be torn down, which I think is its best use, Rob. I really do. As much as I love maintaining older homes, this one, there's so much work that has to be done in order to get this thing to where it needs to be. But the developer has the opportunity to maybe do that, just take on a little bit more to get it to a point where he's just renovating the existing structure. So we'll see what happens there. But great spot.
Yeah, we both had a chance to walk through that house and kind of were on the same page afterwards that maybe it was a candidate for being torn down, I should say. 20 Appleton Road is, we're going back to Birds Hill for this one. This is an often admired storybook cottage, Ryan. Did you?
I liked it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's sometimes these little things, and it didn't really matter. It was the broker tour, but the broker who showed the house on the broker tour was making cookies.
Huh.
And like it had that like cookie feel along with the cookie cutter. It was really, it was cool. I liked it. A nice experience walking through there. It sold quickly. It got a good number. This is a very unique and cool house. I liked it a lot.
So quick question, does it sell for the same amount if there are no cookies?
I think the $200 in the sale price, see that incremental $200?
Oh, interesting.
That's the cookie factor.
Okay, so the cookie factor we need to know going forward is approximately, give or take, $200.
Yeah, if you do it right.
Okay. Over on Beaufort Avenue, 20 Beaufort Avenue, that's the next sale, and it sells for $762,500. Clearly, cookies, brownies, and other things included in this sales price.
Right. Yep.
Thoughts on this one?
Beaufort's been hot. There's been a lot of
Beaufort action
in the last few months. Honestly, I thought this number was a little high. It's a lot of square footage, but the house really is in need of a lot of updating, as indicated by the two-prongedness of some outlets.
Okay. I can tell you, I will say the next listing, 95 Birds Hill Avenue, was described as delightful in the listing sheet. Ryan, I would tend to agree. I thought it was rather delightful.
Yeah, and looking at those two properties, look at 95 Birds Hill Ave compared to 20 Beaufort.
Yep.
And you just have really nothing much to do on Birds Hill Ave. There's less square footage than Beaufort.
Significantly less.
True, but it's I think my money would be in Birds Hill. What do you think?
Okay.
That's just me, though.
Yeah.
What do I know?
I think you could certainly make an argument for that.
I just did.
Yeah. Done. Cross that off the list. 68 Kenny Street. You know, I like the location of 68 Kenny Street.
Okay.
It's not a top location.
Well, that's why there's only two.
Exactly. It's genius. It's location.
Well played.
We'll reserve the third location for the next listing, perhaps. 68 Kenny Street sells for $775,000.
Yeah, this is right near the back end of Broadmeadow School. For those of you on the unawares, it's having a substantial amount of work done to it as we speak by the new owners.
Good intel, Ryan.
Yeah, it's a great spot and nice quiet street and a nice property. 12,000 square foot lot.
At 178 Forest Street, the one disclosure in that listing, Ryan, was that it was subject to sellers finding suitable housing. If you're a buyer's agent in this transaction, does that give you pause going in?
Absolutely. I mean, it's sort of a seller playing it's a seller's market card. But as a buyer, that one's a real tough one for me to get comfortable with.
Well, you need to flush it out very clearly.
Yeah, how far along, how picky are you, what's your budget? You need ultimately to almost be involved in their search. You need to be going to open houses with them.
Well, yeah, because you do become involved with their search ultimately because they're holding you hostage.
Yeah, it's a tough one because it's the brother of the dreaded, subject to us selling our house.
Right.
If you're the buyer.
Right.
So sellers don't like to see that.
What I find sometimes is they've found a place, have it isolated, and they're just covering themselves in case for whatever reason the place they want to buy falls through before their offer comes in. So hopefully that was the case.
Yep.
Looks like it might have been.
Nice house though.
Yes.
They did a nice job inside that house.
They did indeed. 17 North Hill Avenue. is a house that sold for $799. We're starting to climb up here, Ryan, a little bit.
Big lot.
$50,000 over list.
Yeah, a big 20,000 square foot lot on that North Hill Ave property. So, boom.
Yeah, there you go. 11 Fairlawn is right off of Brookline. It says cul-de-sac, but it's not, is it?
It's more of a dead end.
It's a dead end.
Yeah. I mean, you can turn. You can if you're going on a motorcycle, you can do a nice turn. But otherwise, you're doing a K-turn.
Or a scooter, perhaps.
Right. But nice features. This is off of Brookline, kind of between Webster and Manning, right near the high school.
But a cul-de-sac is way better than a dead end.
That sounds better.
Well,
Oh,
it
for sure.
is better.
Well, anytime you put dead end in a listing, people immediately get like, what?
Right, but a cul-de-sac is round.
I
This
agree.
thing is just, yeah.
Yeah, the street just comes to a stop.
Yes, maybe you could put it that way. At least you're being honest. 574 Webster Street is certainly not on a cul-de-sac or a dead end for that matter. It's on Webster Street. Sells for $824, Ryan.
Yep. This one has a very, very large sunroom off the back, but is not conditioned. But the owner tells us that they use it year-round.
Okay,
More intel.
wonderful.
Yep.
31 Laurel Drive,
The Laurels, again.
into the Laurels, and we're going to find an extraordinary chance to own this house, according to the listing agent, because it had been in the same owner's hands, Ryan, for an excess of 20 years.
Yeah, well, here's your chance to get into the Laurels for $829. I mean, yeah. You know what I liked about this house? It had a really nice, they have like a slope in the backyard, so they did some stonework, whatever, and they incorporated a grill into it, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, that's good.
So that was cool. I liked it.
That's what we call masonry,
Yeah.
as opposed to masonry.
Right. People like to stick those A's in. Realtor, masonry.
And we have a theme of the show.
Yeah, there you go.
333 Nahoyden Street gets $833,000.
Which
Lots of threes here.
Yeah, significantly more than they were asking for at $769 in 4 days.
And you know, I walked through this house, Ryan, when it went on the market for $769, and certainly didn't come away with the impression that it would be fetching $74,000
Yeah.
more than what it was listed for. So maybe we do have a candidate for deal of the month,
Yeah, that's a bonanza if you're the seller of Nahoyden Street.
bonanza of the month. Yeah,
Okay.
we can do that. 138 Elmwood Road on the market for $84999. Sells for $835. This is a crisp, clean room, or with room to roam.
Okay.
You like that?
Part of the room to roam is under that part. You can see it in the picture. It's off on the side of the house, next to the garage. It's a covered porch with a hot tub. Yeah. So instead of a 2-car garage, you have a 1-car garage and a carport with a hot tub.
What would you rather have?
Me personally, I'll take the 2-car garage.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm sure that can be arranged.
But that's fun. 76 Highgate Street sells for $865,000. This one was on the market for considerably less, Ryan.
Yeah.
Big
again,
lot. Big
yeah.
lot on Highgate. That helps, certainly.
Certainly a nice location. 12,000 square foot lot, as you mentioned. It's single level living, and it was, you know, you can move right into it, but it's, I wonder if they expected it to go that high over asking.
Probably not.
Yeah.
150 Woodbine Circle. This is a good looking house, Ryan, coming up here next.
Yeah,
This
I agree.
Woodbine Circle
I
listing.
agree. And I'll tell you, this Woodbine Circle, I mean, we've talked about it before, it's Elliot's Livingston Circle.
Correct.
We got to come up with a better name, but that's essentially what it is.
It's a lot of demand, which I think is what you're getting at.
Mm-hmm.
People want that address, that Woodbine Circle address.
It's a nice little community that everyone raves about. It's convenient to the highway, convenient to the heights. I mean, we're seeing a lot of people buying into that area.
Going back down now south of Harris, we're going to go to 20 Carrydale Road. Sells for $904. It felt like this was on the market forever ago, but I guess it was just the beginning of the spring market, right?
Yeah.
Big lot.
Yeah, 17,000 square foot lot. There's some train noise here. This is a spot that you don't really know about. It's kind of tucked in on the back of Prince, on the other side of Harris. So like almost down by where that Colton Park house was.
Exactly. Yep.
The one thing I noticed here that kind of like tweaked me a little bit is like the owner went and replaced all the windows, which is awesome. Except they did the grills in the front only. The rest of the house is just 1/1, no
Right.
grills in the windows, which I thought was like, eh,
Come on.
come on,
Just go that extra little.
little
Few
bit.
feet.
But you know, you could replace some sashes if you wanted to. But I noticed it.
Right. The good news for the seller is you were probably the only one who noticed it. So good for you. 7 Nichols Road was a house that we walked through. I thought it was priced appropriately. I mean, it's a small lot, 6,900 square feet.
Right.
Great location.
Tremendous location.
You know, it felt like it was starting to get a little bit tired on the inside,
Little bit.
but I certainly wouldn't classify it as tired. But
Agreed.
it's, you know, you had the addition on the back, so you know, for this picture, it looks like a tiny cave, but it was actually pretty decent square footage.
Yeah, it's an expanded cape. It's not much of an outdoor. There's not much of a yard.
Yeah, but there is one. There is a backyard. So I liked it. I mean, when it
I
came
liked
on,
it.
I thought it was going to sell
I liked
shortly.
it, but it's over 910. So I mean, it's not like somebody got away with one on that. They paid top dollar for it.
Yeah.
But good for them.
Okay.
Great location. Can't understate that.
1 Winslow Road. This one sells. Actually, we did this one a few years back. Sold for $878 back in 2013, and this time around it goes to $925. Over on 7 Donna Road, Ryan. This is a home that you won't grow out of.
Unless you're tall, Rob, because the ceilings in that house are on the low side.
Oh, is that right? So maybe you will. Literally anyway. 45 Grant Street there's some red writing, Ryan.
Yeah, it took us a while to get there.
Well, I tell you, a casual viewer of the show would look at this and say, wait a minute, Ryan, how can it be a deal to look for the seller when it's almost $200,000 lower than what it was listed for?
I know, and even take into account it was listed for $125 as recently as last September.
All right, so preach.
So
preach,
I
Ryan.
just, like, you look at that house, you just want so badly to love it. It was kind of like the one on May Street from a month or so ago. Like, it's 3,100 square feet, but that includes that carriage house.
Yes, which
so
is
they're including
detached.
that. It's detached. It's not party living space, which leaves you the rest of the living space is very, very small rooms, and they're kind of choppy. It doesn't give you much of a chance to have some space inside the house. And it's charming. It's quaint. It's near town. I really wanted to like it, but I really wanted to pay considerably less than $1 million for it.
All right.
But,
well said. Understood. 115 Beaufort Avenue. This is a house that's across the street from Perry Park. It sells, I was surprised it sold this much less than list considering the days on market there.
Yeah,
But,
the owner was in the process of buying something else. I think that might have been a factor. This house also sold for $750 in 2010.
wow.
The basement was finished since, so that's some
That
upgrade.
counts for something. 33 Bridge Street, we're going back on the other side of 128. This one sells for $887,500 in 2007, so that's a pretty nice increase
And
there.
it's a lot of house for this number, even then. It's location driven, obviously, but you're getting 5,000 square feet for 1.1. That's pretty good.
Yeah, location driven is certainly the case there. Another house that sold recently is 1336 Great Plain Avenue. Sells for $1.025 in 2010. Now it sells for $1,175, and it comes with a house in the back.
Right, and a pond.
And a pond. But the pond was there previously. 102 Pine Street. We do love our Royal Barry Wills style caves, Ryan, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
With those big
Chimneys.
chimneys. Thank you.
You're welcome.
1 acre lot, Pine Street. You're only going one direction.
Yep.
You like this sale? Any comments before we jump to the next
I mean,
listing?
I think the square footage, it's 3,600. That includes over 1,100 square feet that's on the lower level. So it's just worth noting. Always look at that. We hammer it every month. Always look at that.
Okay, 15 Canavan Circle. This is a house that, oh, there you go, a little red writing there, Ryan.
Yeah, how about that?
And you know, sometimes you get a deal of the month, and in this case, it's for the seller, and it doesn't mean necessarily the buyer got a bad deal, and that's how I kind of feel about this particular listing.
Okay.
Because this house was really, it was purchased back in 2008 for $890,000, and the people who bought it put a lot of money into this house and made it look really nice. And even though the square footage didn't necessarily increase because they added just a touch, what they did is went really high end with what they already had. So it was just a really well finished house, showed extremely well. But you know, if you would have told me a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever it may be that 1226 would be the final number on it, I would have been very surprised. It's just a really high number, I thought. But you know, it just goes to show you if you're going to do a renovation and you do it the right way, that you will have benefit from it when it comes time to sell that house. 39 Horace Street is our next listing, built in 2010.
One of Needham's migrant builders.
Okay, and what does that mean, Ryan? Tell us.
Builds a house, resides in it for a period of time, builds another house, moves out, sells.
Okay.
And it's funny because you can see the style because you know the builder and you know the last house he did. This one, the interior just felt the same way. It's very, they stick to their style and good for them.
All right. 203 Fox Hill Road sells for $128. This is, of course, near South Street, kind of Webster tees into it, right? Oil heat for this one, beautiful though, south-facing Colonial, at least according to the listing agent. 549 High Rock Street is the next listing. This, I thought we both kind of liked this house when we were walking through it, didn't we?
Yeah,
I
we
thought
did.
So.
For houses built in 2001, they did a fantastic job with it. And the owner getting it for under 1.3. It's a nice house. I liked it.
Yeah. 184 Valley Road. We're getting into new construction now, Ryan.
Yep.
New construction alert. The builder paid $578,000 for this lot, and it sells for $1,389. Comments?
Yeah, a lot of turnover going on in the valley, a lot of new construction, so they'll feel right at home.
Okay. 162 Thornton Road is a familiar home, I think, for a lot of people who Well, I guess they're in that neighborhood, but I guess that goes for all these houses. 7,405 square foot lot. Ryan, comments?
It's a tough site to build on, Rob. They did a nice job with what they had in the back. Now it's flat and it's very manicured, but there was a steep slope and a lot of ledge, so it was a challenging building site for this developer.
Can't be a huge backyard either with the lot size.
Right.
130 Woodledge Road is a house that does have a bathroom in the basement, Ryan.
It does. It's on the corner of Woodledge and Brookline. My favorite feature of this house, Rob, is the covered patio in the back. I just think it's really charming and it's a nice place to sit.
And that's a lot of square footage right there, boy.
Big house.
We are above 6,000 square feet for this listing. We're also above 6,000 square feet for the next listing. 11 Brentwood Circle sells for $148. Sells quickly, considering it was $100,000 over, listed for $100,000
Right.
more.
Right.
I feel like walking through this house showed very well, but walking through it kind of got the feeling it should be in the 1.4 as opposed to the 1.5s.
It's that whole perspective. I love it at 148. I didn't like it at 155. And it sold at 1.2 when it was new in 2012.
70 Deerfield Road was new in 2013. Meanwhile, this house sells for more, but it's less than 4,000 square feet. Next up is 146 Melrose Avenue. Okay, next up is 20 Burr Drive. This is a house that sold for $1.64 back in 2012, Ryan. So that's a tidy little profit of $10,000.
Yeah, I mean, we liked it then. I like it again now. I don't love that they used the pictures from 2013. I mean, take your new pictures. Come on.
That's
But
crazy.
it's
I'll give the benefit of the doubt that there was a reason for it,
I mean,
but that's crazy.
I liked it to say 3 years later, and it gets it just goes to show that the owner in 2013 who sold it then probably got a pretty good deal because prices have gone up in 3 years and it's only only $10,000 more.
Yeah.
So the buyer today got a good deal and the seller in 2013 got a good deal. But this is a nice house, very well built, great backyard with a really nice pool.
Right, so you're saying the buyer who bought it in 2013 got a good deal, only to have a bad deal when he sold it in 2016.
Yeah, right.
Right? What goes around comes around.
Yeah.
Right? No?
Sort of. No,
Okay.
I think we'll get into that offline.
Okay. 15 Richard Road is the next listing. Sells for, that's a pretty healthy number.
I'd say so.
1,765?
Big lot, 18,000 square feet.
Yeah.
The land went for $750.
6.5 baths.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And now, Ryan, we get to our big seller.
Needham.
48 Scott Road.
Needham's Gold Coast. What do you think of that?
I love it.
Yeah. All right.
What do you think about it?
I mean, great Scott, Rob.
Yeah, that's what it used to be. Now it's Needham's Gold Coast.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was built in 2012. At that time, it was Great Scott. Now it's on the Gold Coast. It was. It's been rented since. So, I mean, I think that the owner did well by himself by hanging on to it, getting a decent rent for the period, let the market catch up. Because in 2012, Rob, there weren't very many houses selling for over $2 million.
No question.
So this house was kind of coming out, and it was one of a kind. Now you've got some comps. You've got a clear, established high-end market in Needham. So waiting it out while collecting rent on a property like this
Worked.
and then selling it worked, and it worked really well.
Well, I remember when we looked at that house back in 2012, it was obviously
Large.
very nice and very large, but there was nothing that set it apart from other homes. Like,
Agreed.
it just seemed to be
Other
missing
than its size
something.
and its price tag.
And the name of the Great Scott. Market snapshot. Let's take a look at how things are appearing
Yeah.
as of July 8, 2016. And Ryan, we still have an inventory
I
problem.
know, and this is where you start to say, all right, well, there's 50 sales in June. That's great. Well, there were 60 last year, and then last year when they're done with those 60 sales, we only had 64 homes, or 102. I'm reading it wrong. Sorry. We didn't have the inventory at the end of the June last year that we have this year, and
Right.
I think that's our problem. Is we have 104 homes still on the market that we need to absorb at one of the slower times of the year.
Only good news is the average listing price is down, so hopefully that starts to drive sales. Ryan, if anybody wants to get a hold of us, how would they go about doing that?
Rob, they can just go ahead and call us at 781-707-6564.
Okay.
They can send us an email at rob.ryan@hawthornre.com.
Alrighty.
And they can also follow us on Twitter, Rob. It's at Hawthorne_WMHW.
Lots of ways to follow us.
We're out there.
Thanks
or
for-
you can walk up to us in a parking lot because that's fine too.
We do. We like that as well. In the meantime, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a great day.